Hey folks, Adam McIntosh here, and we are waking up after about 4 hours of sleep, but I have coffee. And we're ready to shoot another video today. So last week I ended up really sick and ended up getting stuck inside way more than I would like. So today we are going outside and we're gonna go to a certain part of town and shoot that part of town. That part of town is called Merihaka. For me, it's a part of town that kind of sticks out in Helsinki. It's kind of tucked away from my usual through areas of places that I would usually visit on my sort of day-to-day basis, and therefore I don't really go there often, and it kind of feels like this pocket of town that I don't really see that much, and I haven't really spent much time there. To anybody who grew up in Helsinki, it might not seem that interesting, but I think architecturally it just sort of sticks out in a weird way, and I find it a really interesting spot, and there's a few reasons why. One of them being that I'm not from Europe, so there are certain styles of architecture and that sort of thing that are still quite exciting to me. I really like this kind of industrial, Russian, Eastern European kind of vibe of places, and I feel like this part of town really has that. Secondly, it's built in a kind of odd way, a way that I haven't seen before at least, where the first floor of everything, so like the ground level, is just roads and car parks. So there are no buildings on the ground level. Once you get up to the second level, there is buildings built on top of that, apartment blocks mostly. I think it was just built for housing, as far as I'm aware. According to Wikipedia, it was built in the 1970s and 1980s and is home to some 2,300 people. It's also one of the few parts of town where there are kind of higher buildings. The apartment blocks there are genuinely kind of taller than the other apartment blocks in the city. And this is something I didn't really figure out until this morning when I was reading the Wikipedia page. But I always got this strange vibe when I was there, and I thought maybe it was because of the Russian-esque Eastern European architecture vibe that was going on there, and that way that it's like, you kind of feel like that it is very 70s and 80s, but then there's also this like futuristic utopian kind of vibe going on there. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense, but if you watch sci-fi movies, maybe you get what I mean. And what I didn't understand until this morning when I was reading on the Wikipedia page, and that it was in the actual design plan of it, is that whenever I was there, I was like, you've got these huge tall apartment buildings. There must be people here, obviously, but then I never really see anybody around there, and it's very quiet, and I couldn't put my finger on what that was until what is very obvious and what I explained before. There are two levels, so the ground level being roads and parking lots, and the buildings on top. So what that means is that most people go straight down to the ground level, and that might be through elevators in their apartment blocks or nearby stairwells. So there are no cars because all the cars are on the ground level, and I think a lot of pedestrians would go to ground level to catch buses or to get to their cars or to walk to other parts of the city. So it's kind of strange. You're in this complex. You'll see it when I get there. I'm probably just going to try to shoot the vibe of the place. That's kind of my idea for today. It is snowing outside. It is also currently -7. So I think if we get, well, what looks like some blue skies outside, there might be some interesting light come through if the sun sets. If it also goes grey with snow cloud, then I think that'll kind of fit the whole atmosphere of the place. And if I see any cool street photos along the way, of course I'll grab them. But yeah, I just kind of want to sort of shoot the vibe of the place, see what I can capture in that sense, and just get up and get out with my camera, go shoot something that I usually wouldn't shoot. I have thought about shooting there many times, as I say, but kind of more in the sense of portrait locations or street photography location. But yeah, I'm just going to go out today and try to capture the atmosphere of an area, which I've never really done before, and that's something that we should all be striving to do with our own creative works. However, it is -7 outside, so before we leave, I'm going to need some warm clothes. And we're good to go. Hope you guys enjoy the video. See you when we get there.
Hey folks, so we made it out to Merihaka and I've been shooting for about half an hour or so out here already. As you can see, there's a bit of snow, and to be honest, it is pretty cold. My fingers especially, I don't have the best gloves, and I did make this little cut in one of my gloves so that I could use my phone and my camera. That little tip of my finger is really starting to freeze. So I'm probably gonna do another half an hour or so out here. I hope you're enjoying the video so far. Then I'm gonna go get some coffee and some food, and I'll check back in with you guys right at the end.
Okay, so we made it back home. I'm slowly thawing out. Today was really fun. I hope it makes sense. I just have the one camera, the one that I'm filming on right now, and I'm kind of doing like B-roll, regular footage, and today obviously stills, all on the same camera. So there's kind of a lot to think about, a lot of changing of settings going on. Also, on top of that, the snow and the cold and the 5 layers of clothing kind of does make everything a little bit more difficult. If it doesn't make a lot of sense, I'm sorry, but I had a lot of fun, and it does feel like a success. It was really good exercise as well, I think, to just go out and sort of think about things differently, doing something that I wouldn't usually shoot. Also, with the whole filming and everything else going on in the same camera, it just kind of really got my brain moving. It was also just really nice to be outside. Turned out to be like a super nice day, even though it was cold. And if I'm to leave you with anything from today, I'd like it to be that something that I've heard quite a lot, probably you've heard it too, is that the brain, or creativity specifically, is kind of like a muscle that you should keep exercised. Keeping it exercised allows it to be more malleable and free and, you know, more open to ideas. Me personally, I envision it kind of like a ball of clay or a ball of wax in my hands, where, you know, if I'm to keep it malleable, then I need to do something every day just to make sure it doesn't harden, because I think the longer you go, the harder it's going to get, and the harder it is to get back to that malleable state. When you are in that malleable state, I think you're able to be more open to ideas that come through, or, you know, even if it's something super important, you've got a deadline, you're already in this open flow state, rather than starting from something that's a little bit hardened and then you have to work it first and then, you know, go from there. So, and I know that's all a little bit conceptual, but I hope that you can understand and agree that these exercises are super important to keeping the creative brain running. You know, I don't believe any of today's work was, you know, life-changing or that's going to end up in a museum, but I do believe by doing these exercises, when that important work arises, that I'm going to be in a better frame of mind to approach those situations and create successful work out of them, you know, by taking that time and doing these things, you know, when it is my day off, when nobody's paying me to do so. So that's it from me. I'm going to start this one hell of an editing process. Yeah, I hope the video was great. Hope you guys had fun. I definitely did. It was a great day. And yeah, links to everything down below, comment section if you want to leave a comment, suggestions or questions. And yeah, till next time, happy shooting. Peace.